That sucks, man.
What's up, everybody? This is State of the Union.
What's up, everybody?
What up, everybody? This is Darius J. Bringing you the State of the Union dress.
You know, nah, she was president. I wouldn't run with her. I wouldn't run against her. I let her win.
All right.
Let her win.
Nah, because I wouldn't want to. Because the thing of it is just like what I believe the Democratic Party is missing is oneness. Like we talked about last week, they missing oneness. But if you got somebody that you believe that you can make an honest difference and go ahead and you feel like they're a better fit for the job, get behind them. Mm-hmm. Don't oppose them. Mm-hmm. Let them do the job you believe they can do instead of just saying, "Oh no, I think I'm better than she is." Nah, man, she would be the best person for that job at that time. Mm-hmm. I don't care how much I believe in myself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to believe in somebody else more than step back. You know what I mean? And let it happen. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that being said, we are live, everyone.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
We ain't fill y'all with dead space and me chattering and talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? We was actually dropping.
I like these rolling starts. I like
to do that. Yeah, because sometimes y'all catch me in foolishness, man. And y'all have me looking bad. Hey, man, don't be at your...
What's going on?
You just shush me?
Don't even say it.
Almost.
Do it.
What was about to be said?
Some Kareem Hunt smell in here.
What?
Oh, no.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all got that on camera. Wow.
Hey, man, don't put that against my presidency. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's over.
Yeah, you said it.
You know what? I stand on what I said. And
okay.
I apologize. You know, I wouldn't hit Bella ever. I ain't never raised my hand to my wife, even though she don't hit me. You know what I mean? In the eye, I cried. Just a little tip came out.
A thug tear.
It's just like, what you crying? Why didn't he hit you that hard? Yeah, it hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no fun to hit that hard, man.
Really?
What's up, everyone? Welcome.
Steve's like, what's up, everyone?
Totally unintentional.
Enough of that.
If you are here,
don't fight Siobhan. She a killer.
I'm gonna trim that.
I love you, baby. You know that, girl.
What?
You the chocolate chip in my
hey, you know that last time you started talking about your wife, it did not. It was not PG-13. So you might just want to stop there.
Black love ain't PG-13. It's rated R. I'm not gonna do the show today.
What? What is going on? All right, if you're here, like, share, subscribe. If you're here, just go ahead.
Convrs8 Media Collective.
Stuff on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Share.
Turn
ring
up.
the bell.
Ring that bell.
I think I hit it right there.
Ring that bell like chow time.
Yeah.
You know. We got Ebony here. Y'all see her?
Hi, say hi.
Got the Black Excellence face on. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Black Girl Magic.
Yes.
Black Girl Rock.
Yes.
Black Girl hit you in the eye, you get Thanks for the game.
I don't know about that.
They taking over. You know what I'm saying?
So done.
I got one. You should get you one too. Hashtag. Back and front. Huh? Man, I ain't saying that wrong this time. I don't know where your mind just went.
I'm just tired of you.
You need prayer.
I didn't even think anything what you were saying.
I don't know. You had grabbed your brain like you was finna.
Because you're just saying stuff. You're just talking outside of your neck right now.
And that's what I do when I ain't got a lot of
Can you close your neck, please?
Yeah. Close. Now I'm talking out my mouth. Hey, man. If y'all don't hear me get on here in the next 5 minutes and find every last
don't be threatening our fans.
I threaten them every Sunday. They used
That's
to.
probably why they're not coming back.
Huh? They come back. They come back. It be more on me every time. Go get your mama and them, your friend, some of your little cousins.
Stop. Where the Browns at?
They come.
Oh, that's right.
They come. They're my most trustworthy fans right there. They've been down since day one.
Day one.
Day ones. Man, I need to not be on here. I ain't even take a nap today. I could. Because I was reading up on stuff that I forgot to read up on. You know what
I'm proud of you.
I mean? Amazon, too. Yeah, there's some stuff behind that Amazon stuff, Steve. I can't wait to talk about it.
Are you talking about the taxes, or are you talking about them not being in New York for the new head?
Them not being in New York.
Them not being in New York, and the tax break that they got. And the reason why some of the people in New York didn't want them to be on that anyway.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
We're
ain't supporting no community around here.
Exactly. We'll get more into it.
That makes me not want it. Exactly. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We can't give
chocolate Sundays.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Yo, I look like I got a fade. I don't see my real dreadies off up in here. Who is Jordan Davis?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wait, yeah. Jordan was the first on here.
Jordan, that's what I'm talking about. Baby, come show up. You know what I'm saying?
What it do, bro?
Mr. Senator. You know what I mean?
Mr. Lobbyist.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in here calling to you. I don't know. Y'all just gonna see me in the background of pictures at the Capitol building and all kinds of stuff. They be like, and then when I show up the president, they're like, how you got there? I'm like, hey, that dude regular. I'm like, yeah,
that
man.
Dude regular.
My granddaddy told me that, you know what I'm saying? It don't take a whole lot of sense to be anything in this world. You just gotta be good and consistent.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, this is true.
So, it was like, you know, what Benjamin Franklin was no engineer, electrical engineer when he started building light bulbs. He was just a guy that trying to make some light.
What?
Really? It wasn't no such thing as engineers back then. They just was inventors. You know what I mean? So, you know, I feel like I know how to add, subtract, read. You know what I mean? And what I don't know, I can learn. You know what I mean? So I feel like I can be anything.
You can.
Should we unleash the cold start question?
Yeah, unleash it.
Yes.
Cold start question.
Yes.
Do men treat women like they treat themselves?
Oh, that's what we talking about today?
It's a cold start question.
That's a hard cold start.
This is
that's a hot start. Ooh.
Oh,
man.
This is really
I thought it was going to be something light. I was like, that cold, woo.
I came across the question.
I ain't even going to say that right now. I'm going to stay silent. I'm working on sound.
Oh my goodness.
No, you have to contribute to the conversation.
I contribute after the rest of y'all. I got this, woo, yeah.
It was a question that I saw on a group that I follow on Facebook. It's Black Podcasters United. And
Chris Maxwell, what's up, baby?
That says, does men treat women like they treat themselves?
Do you know what the results were? Like, what
I think right now, like, the answer that's in the lead is yes.
I'm gonna tell you why this is a hard no, but no.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Why?
No, I'm gonna wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let some of y'all start. You know what I mean? Because y'all know I can talk forever.
Well, what? The ladies first on this?
Yes. And y'all experience, you beautiful queens. You know what I'm saying?
With a 2-shot right.
Oh gosh.
There
See, I had more. Well, when I was talking to Steve about it, I had more of a generalized answer. It wasn't like anything personal. I started thinking about, well, for me as being a believer in Christ, I think the thing that I kind of really struggle with is love your neighbors as yourself. And so I think sometimes it's kind of hard to translate that over to how you treat others, because I think sometimes you can treat others treat others better than you treat yourself sometimes. And I know for me, I can speak about that for myself, because there wasn't a lot of self-love, so it's easier for me to love somebody else better than I take care of myself, or I'm always taking care of other people better than I'm taking care of myself. So I feel like it was just a very broad question, because it's like, on what basis does men treat women like they treat themselves? Like, is it a negative connotation, or is it like a positive? Does it like matter like what their background is, how they were raised, how they saw their mothers being treated or women in their family being treated, and it's a cycle that's not broken until addressed. And even if addressed, that's still a choice to break the cycle. So it was like a lot of just like questions I had from the question.
Armani, what's up, man?
Because I think there's times where people just don't choose to break the cycle, and it's the abusive relationship, domestic violence, and all these different things, these patterns, because of the things that the different things they experience growing up. But then there's people that try to do better, and they even given what they've been through, and they try to treat themselves. I feel like it starts with you, and then it flows over to the next person. But that was kind of like my thoughts on it.
Complicated.
Yeah.
That's loaded. Your response was way more articulate than what, because initially in my head I was like, I don't know about that. And I just think it's just from my experience. But I think with what you shared, just looking at it from different factors, I can understand like you wonder, okay, like, what is the ultimate like connotation? Like, is this a negative thing they're trying to point out or a positive? Yeah. I think for me, that's so loaded. Aside from loving your neighbor as yourself, like one of the things that I'm trying to do is like focus on like loving people the way that God loves them, or treating people the way that God treats me and not the way they treat me. Yeah. And I think just from my own personal experience with some men, I think they didn't necessarily treat me the way they treated themselves, like as far as that same kind of like love, self-care, that kind of thing. And I'm one of those people where I believe, hurt people, but I also believe that heal people. And so I think, if we do a better job of having self-awareness on both ends, I think that it can be mutual, where people treat others the way that they treat themselves, like taking care of the people around them. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
You got something, Steve?
Yeah. Because me and Mello were talking about it in the car on the way here. So I think the answer is yes, because I feel like selfishness, if we're talking about a guy being selfish, I feel like that affects how he treats other people, in a sense that oh man, I lost it a little bit. Because I feel like selfishness or like insecurities and stuff like that affects being selfish. I feel like being selfish is a symptom of that. It's an insecurity. Being selfish is an insecurity. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So in that way, they're kind of tied together in that way. You know what I mean? So in a way, he treats himself badly with his self-esteem, and it's gonna project to his actions on how he treats other people. He's selfish. Then, I'm tripping.
I feel like you're making some good points though, seriously. Like, I see the correlation with that.
Yeah.
So for instance, like, one of the things that I think about is like, to me there's a difference between being selfish and being self-focused. And like, when I think about being selfish, it's not just about me, but it's I want some of what you have as well. And I think you make a good point. Like, if someone's insecure or someone's struggling with some sort of like internal character flaw or what have you, is going to be projected in the way they treat other people. So in essence, okay, if that person's not treating you well, that's an indication that internally they're not treating themselves well, because they may not even see themselves in a good way. Right,
because even if they, are lavishing attention onto themselves in that way, in a way that's like a deficit. That's like saying, well, no one loves me enough, so I'm gonna do for me, because I'm not gonna let anybody else do that for me, because I don't expect them to. You know what I mean? It comes from a lack of confidence in other people loving them. You know what I mean? So, or I'm just thinking a very specific example, but that's just what come to mind when I saw the question. It's just like, I mean, yeah, that can affect how you love somebody.
Yeah.
Is your lack of confidence in how you are loved.
Yeah.
You know, without you asking for it or without you demanding it or acting out in a way to force the action. And all right, we got some Major League production stuff.
Hey, sorry y'all looking at me in mellow face. You know what I'm saying? We hope y'all enjoy it.
Alright, let's see.
Got a rogue power chord.
Just say R-Ware.
Hey, I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts.
Yeah, I was about to suggest.
You know what I mean? Well, let me slide back in the screen.
Yeah, I got
real players don't fail.
Cameras on Darius, so you got some latitude.
Okay. Do I think men treat women as themselves? Not at first. I think that's something we have to learn to do. You know what I'm saying? Like in the beginning of relationships or even in friendships and stuff like that. I remember, and I'm going to use my dating relationship with my now wife. In the beginning, I selfishly treated her as I would myself. I didn't treat her as a person that I was trying to get to know. I was treating her as a person as if she was who I was. But at the same time, I didn't think about like, yo, this is an individual need that she needs. She has an individual need in this relationship as well. And my responsibility to her is to treat her especially how she needs to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I know it's something, I can't remember quite what I said, Siobhan. And we was just friends at the time. We just came off a date. And I was just like, she said something, and I was just like, well, you know, that ain't the way I do it, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Bump all that, you know what I mean? And then I thought about it even as we was walking. I was like, yo, you know what? I apologize, you know what I'm saying? Because what you asked me didn't have nothing to do with how I would do something. It had everything to do with how you feel and how you would handle it. So I have to respect who you are. Yeah. But I feel like the person that asked that question was thinking in the aspect of like, do I treat her with the same goodness and kindness that I would treat myself? And I honestly did, you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't, because I've seen people exercise so much selfishness in a relationship that it just breaks the relationship. Because the thing that it is, most people don't understand, even men, it's harder for them to understand that they're broken because they think that everything that they're doing is right because it has got them to the point that where they are at now, even if it's in some kind of success in career, life, whatever. You know what I mean? So they only treat people, you know what I'm saying, that treat people the way that they don't want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like say some guys, I even know in like past relationships, is like, I'll treat a girl very subpar. You know what I'm saying? Just like I would, you know, I told y'all my life, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, you know, so I said a lot of things I shouldn't say to a woman, you know what I mean? But, you know, I had learned, and it came from a place of brokenness, you know what I'm saying? So I had to repair that, and that's why I always knew, like, yo, I would never get married before I turned 30. I was just like, that's something my grandfather told me, wait, because you have to mature. If you don't mature, you're not gonna be good in a relationship. You're just not. Like, that's why me and your grandmother didn't work out, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, dang. But I took heed to that because it's just like all my relationships for my now marriage, I was like, man, I treated people bad. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like bad, like, yo, I just did broken people things. You know what I'm saying? Just like I took advantage of people, manipulated people, and that's not treating a person as you would treat yourself, because I won't manipulate myself, and I won't do none of those things. I won't be selfish to myself or something like that. I'll try to give myself every piece of love that I can allow myself to give, and self-love. But a lot of people don't practice that same self-love externally to the person that's sitting beside, the person that they're trying to walk with or grow with. So most dudes don't practice that right off bat, because most people just like, if you hunting something, you ain't hunting something in order to be friends with it. You hunting something in order to capture it, eat it, or whatever, devour it. So that's kind of like the mode we have to get out. Like, we're not hunting to kill, we're hunting to say, oh, I found something that is worth keeping around. You know what I'm saying? Worth cultivating and growing with, instead of saying I need to find a way to get all I can get out of that thing and then discard it, like you do with bones from a carcass. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, I don't think so. I don't. It's a slippery slope, and I know most guys will say, no, I do, but I would ask them in the same thing, like, how many relationships? Where have all those relationships got? Are you still single? You couldn't have. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't have.
But that takes self-awareness, and a lot of people are walking around with a lack of self-awareness. Like, it takes a lot for you to be able to, in retrospect, be able to take ownership for that kind of behavior and to acknowledge that. And I think a lot of people don't even know that that's what they're doing, or that that's what they've done. And it does go back to just this broken frame of mind, this broken emotional cycle that people go through.
Yeah, and that's true, because I think most people don't understand they on a loop. They just keep recycling the same stuff over and over, trying it again on a different person. And then they be like, because even like some people I watch, even some of my friends and stuff, I watch them be in relationships. I'm like, you understand why you're getting the same result? Because you keep taking that same thing inside a different situation and spreading toxic waste all over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is not healthy. It was healthy the first 6 months. Now it's not healthy anymore. It's like, yo, you just do toxic waste all over the place. You're decaying the person, you know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people, I tell people, like, you need to flush yourself before you go into a relationship. Like, you can't, if you don't learn.
You preaching now.
Because I tell people, if you don't learn your brokenness, you're just going to keep breaking people. You're going to break it. You can even get a healthy person and break them. You know what I'm saying? Like, a person that, like, a lot of people don't understand they're toxic. That's one thing I found out about myself. It was like, yo, I'm a toxic person. I got a lot of brokenness. I got a lot of generational things that had came with me I didn't know anything about, but as I grew, I learned about those things. I was like, dang, that's why I keep doing that. Or even in my professional life, I learned, like, dang, that's why I keep doing it, because I just keep recycling the brokenness that had been given to me and never been dealt with. And that's why I know, like, I tell people, like, all the time, man, most of the time I'm working on myself, because if I have a child, I don't want them to have to work out my demons or my past family demons, because it's my responsibility to let them come in this world clean. Because if I don't, I'm gonna have to exercise a demon within me and out of them, and that's just gonna cause strife. That's why a lot of kids end up hating their parents, honestly.
Wow, that was a hot, cold start.
Siobhan,
but
are you pregnant?
Yes. Siobhan, are you watching? Are you watching? Oh my God.
Yeah, we couldn't start the show. You know what I mean?
Yes, that was that hot, cold start.
Hot, cold start. You know what I mean? Like,
we'll be a bit more chill next time.
I told y'all, stuff like that. Y'all know I'm going in on, man. You know how I feel about wholeness. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people need to work their demons out, man. Because if you ain't out here trying to... Hey. And I'm thankful. It's just like I told people, like, I'm thankful for everything I got and everything I learned through people that helped me, therapy, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, get you some therapy, because y'all need. I see a lot of people walking around with some big old demons, and they need to fight them on a couch, laying on their back like this, looking up, saying, "I'm tired. I kicked the pup in the face, and I think it broke me when I was 6." And I've been wrong ever since.
Get your friends.
You don't get me.
We're ready.
Out here. All right, I'm finna start, man. Y'all out here playing.
Did anybody have anything to contribute to the conversation?
I mean, no, it's kind of.
We're just listening.
Yep.
Hey, man, look how beautiful my wife is. Y'all see her? She fine. But you can't have her.
Oh, we missed
she
that.
She look good in my hat. See how good she look in my hat? Then, that's my wife.
We missed the wife picture.
You did?
Yeah, you gotta show it to the camera again.
I don't know if
she light skinned, by the way. I ain't know that till last night.
Yeah, it's barely visible. But
all right, man.
You magnify your screen. I'm sure you'll be able to see it.
Don't worry about it. They don't need to see it.
They don't need to see the details.
All right.
All right, let me start. I can't remember my words, so I gotta find my script. And I got popcorn and pizza pictures and everything here.
What?
You see how he grabbed the phone out of my head, out of the screen?
Huh?
Just watching the delayed video.
All right, everybody. You know what I'm saying? For the start in 5, 4, 3, 2,
9.
Jing-a-ling-a-ling. Oh, God. I almost choked on the go. What's up, everybody? This is Darius J.
And I'm Stevie Neal.
And this your girl, Mela G.
Who?
Mela G.
With special guest.
Ebony.
Woo!
Yeah! She said she getting y'all her government because she don't know y'all like that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 204. Convrs8. Like, share, and subscribe on Convrs8 Media Collective.
Yeah.
Ring that bell, because if you don't ring it, we don't let you know when we on or not.
Yeah,
you know, it ain't our fault, it's your fault, because you supposed to do what I said do.
Subscribe.
But, you know what I mean? Thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody that is here and got here on time. Daisy, Armand, Chris Maxwell. We don't know where the Browns at, but they coming. I know they on the way. Oh, what up, Browns?
What up, Browns?
We are a collective of minds coming together to give you our opinions and thoughts on topics that we deem noteworthy, with special guest rangers from no collar to white collar coming to you in godly fashion. So friends, millennials, countrymen, and women, because we PC out this thing, lend me your ears, because it's all love. You know what I mean? What up, everybody? Black girl magic, black excellence. Black is a superpower if you didn't know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we here.
Hashtagging all that.
Hashtag all that. You know what I mean? So, you know, what's up, everybody? Regular people make the world go round, too. So, we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
So, how we living, everybody? How we living, Mela G?
Thank you, Darius, for prompting the people to subscribe and like so that I don't have to do it.
Oh, did I took your job?
No, you're growing.
Oh. You see that growth? Black growth. Everything is black growth. Black excellent. Chocolate is delicious. You know what I'm saying? Even by itself. You know what I mean? Slap that on 2 graham crackers. No marshmallows, though, because I'm black. And my president was too, till we got this orange guy. Never mind. I'm sleeping.
Alrighty then. So this past week was a little rough for me.
Oh, Lord.
It's time for me to get another job. It's been time for me to get another job, but this week confirmed it. So please be praying for my job and the one that I'm going to get. The one I'm at currently, the one I'm going to get. But it was rough. I think I learned a lot about myself. I think what I'm really striving to grow in is communicating my needs. Not just on my job, but just in general.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the victory out of all the chaos that was happening this week, was going back, realizing what I've done, and also apologizing not for them, but for me in regards to, this is not a reflection of who Jesus is. I'm not working for you, I'm working for God. And then also just like, but in moving forward, this is what I need from you in order for me to do my job effectively.
Jesus be a big
So yeah, I think if anything, it was that Valentine's Day this year was super encouraging. I feel like in the past, you know, I mean, I never really had a significant other on Valentine's Day. I feel like I was always dating up until that point, and I was either broken up with before that time, or I just wasn't dating at all, or I was dating and it just was terrible.
See, I was about to prompt like an audience awe until that point.
I was like, that got sad real fast. I was just like, and I was like, nah, you know what?
Oh, you did on purpose.
Did on purpose. She dropped y'all.
No, they dropped me.
Oh, I thought I was finna power big you up, man. I was about to say she dropped you. Sorry, sucker. So we got time. She wants your raggedy teddy bear. You know what I mean?
But I think this was one of the most encouraging Valentine's Day.
I see y'all out there on the town.
Well, from the kids at my job to the brothers at the church that night. It was super encouraging. Like, I just really felt the love of God that day.
He just kissed you on your forehead.
He did.
God said, wow.
I'm your forever Valentine.
So y'all stayed out of Hooters?
Yeah.
Y'all ain't gonna get them free single Hooter wings?
No, we went to church and we had a game night, and it was so crazy because all the brothers disappeared at once. It's like, where did the brothers go? And then they was coming up the stairs with the roses and different cars. And then each brother kind of like had something prepared for a specific sisters to encourage them and let us know how much they appreciate us. And that was truly encouraging. Yeah, so
good job, brothers. Y'all did your thing.
You did your thing.
Made sisters happy and let them know y'all still alive. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thankfully they stayed out of Hooters as well.
Yes. Yeah.
That's entrapment.
Yeah.
That's entrapment.
Right.
You don't want to be up in there going to the house struggling late night with Hooter sauce on your hands.
Wings.
Hooter sauce?
You know what I'm saying?
For some wings.
Nothing.
Okay.
But that was my week. I think I definitely ended on a high note.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
That's how you live in. Special guest, Ebony.
I've been good. I think I've been much better going into 2019 than towards the end of 2018. I think a lot of people know that last year I lost my father, and some people don't know, but I also ended a relationship, and so going into the end of the year was just really hard for me. Struggled a lot with depression and things like that, but I think the new year truly gave me like a new leaf. Like I was able to turn over a new leaf, and so I have an annual resolution, and so my resolution this year is to do the things that stir my soul, whether it's something small or something big, like whatever I need to do to like feel alive on the inside.
Yeah.
And so like I've been doing a lot of like self-care, like taking hot bubble baths to unwind and decompress from the day. I've invested a lot into aromatherapy. I bought ballet slippers and a leotard and tights because I'm going to take an adult ballet class.
Wow.
So like I studied ballet for like 14 years, and it's been like 15 years since I've done it. And so I am like really looking forward to, well, not 15 years since I've done it. It's probably been a little less than that. But I'm looking forward to like that, like just doing something that I enjoy, like something that's going to help stir like my soul. So I've been good lately.
That's good. That's really good, Ebony.
Stephen Neal, keep it real.
Well, my week has been good because it was a short week at work. I've been off since Thursday, so nice and recharged for tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
But Valentine's Day was good for us because it was just kind of a chill thing where we got each other these love boxes.
Oh.
So what those love boxes are just simple little reminders of like what we love about each other, what we know about each other that'll encourage one another.
Yeah.
Like
y'all cute.
Yeah, part of my encouragement was let me get it.
All right.
This stuff right here. These raspberry sorbet ice cubes, icebreaker ice cubes. She knows I could go through like a whole box of these in a day if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't use them to freshen my breath at all. I just love the way they taste. So this was in my love box.
Aww. Y'all cute.
Go Brittany.
Go Miss Patterson.
So and in her box was just like I had a bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, with the little tissues and whatnot.
Secure the bag.
You know.
Secure the bag, secure the heart.
So it was like some rosé, some pink Starburst, I got her like, you know, we got these great classic Uno cards or whatever, and we had got them for a birthday party. We ended up leaving them at the party.
Oh, man.
So I got some more. You know what I mean? And put, you know, card games has been a big part of what we do. Or whatever. Not spades though. We're not spades fans. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay.
That was a thought process.
Keep the black card.
Yeah. So
we start losing people, viewers.
Exactly.
He was like, they don't play spades. Oh, they're done with them.
Exactly. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. You know, before it's like broken. You know, like no. You heard it here first. I don't play spades. I don't do it.
But y'all know, your boy, everybody know me. I get down. Yeah, you can't beat me. I play by myself.
You need to come play with some of these single people then.
For what? I don't want to. I destroy them because I don't play nice. You know what I'm saying?
They don't play nice either.
I destroy them. I already don't beat half your singles down. You know what I'm saying? I don't beat Tina. All the people. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ice used to link up.
Here we go.
Tear the whole house up. Put everybody out. You know what I'm saying? They thought they were gonna beat us. I don't even want to talk.
You gonna get Ice.
Leroy Jenkins in this thing. You know what I mean? That's my spades alias. Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
I don't play no game.
I will avoid Leroy.
I get one of the little candy cigarettes and hang it out my mouth. Like,
stop it.
Oh man, so that was Valentine's Day, and we just did a lot of. We both had Thursday and Friday off, so well, we just did a lot of hanging out or whatever. Even when we were like running errands, like, you know, she had a dentist appointment, an eye appointment, and so I was like, okay, I need some new glasses. Let me get an eye appointment, and you know, around the same time, you know, we hung out in Covington like all day Friday because that's where it was at. But, you know, she had to go back at 1 o'clock that first 7 o'clock. Dentist appointment for a cleaning, so it's like we ended up spending the whole day out there. You know, just simple stuff like that. You know, because the deeper you get into this thing, it's the less about like the material stuff that you do. Cause I don't know, our first Valentine's Day, we went to the aquarium, we went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and she got a carriage ride for us. You know,
balling.
You know what I mean?
Oh man.
So yeah, it was just nice and simple, and those sometimes are the best ones.
Yeah.
So how you living?
Oh, I was tripping.
Darius J.
Me. Oh, what's up? Well, I had lost. I thought something was seriously wrong, but never mind. We good. Me. I've been living well. You know what I'm saying? Like, this week was a good week. I only had Friday off, you know what I'm saying? Because I had to go perform surgery on some crab legs the night before.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought you was going to mention that.
I know.
Yeah, me and two other couples, we hang pretty tight. You know what I'm saying? We both enjoy crab leg, the Pattersons and the Browns, so we went to go do some open leg surgery.
Some open leg surgery.
And, we are surgical.
We are surgically tactical. We finally got the lady, the waitress lady on our rotation when she was coming in 10-minute increments.
We gave her an arm workout with all the crab leg plates.
Exactly. She had to keep coming.
Surgery on.
Yeah, I was like, clack out. Took the meat out. See, I had to remove the muscle that the leg.
I thought you said took the knee out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, you just break the knees, you know what I'm saying, to get it right. You know what I mean? Then you dip it in butters and you put it in your mouth. You don't really save the crab leg, you just throw it away because it's done.
It's already dead.
Yeah, sorry.
It's already dead.
Crabby McLeggins.
Nothing wasted.
We did not waste nothing.
No mercy.
No parts of your body. You know what I mean?
We did quick too because it's like 6 people and it's just all you can eat crab legs.
Yeah.
We didn't, you know, some of us got no sides.
Yeah.
You know, just so no drag.
Yeah,
you know, I don't need hush puppies and corn dragging down.
Nah.
I'm gonna get as much crab as
straight
possible.
legs.
Right.
Straight legs. I must have downed at least 10 clusters.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went that far behind, but you know, the week was good. You know, chill. You know, Valentine's Day. You know, we celebrated Valentine's Day with crab legs. You know what I mean? And you know, I always like spending quality time with the wife. Chilling time with, you know, just chilling with her, talking to her and stuff like that. Trying to make sure I put some quality time in because just like Steve said, man, it's often as you keep going down, you know what I mean, the small things matter the most, you know what I mean, like just spending time because you know, I'm pretty busy and she pretty busy with her job and stuff like that. And so every time we get to spend with each other, we try to spend as much time, whether it's just running errands with each other, just talking with each other on the way to doing things, laughing, playing, all that stuff like that. You know what I mean? That stuff really help your relationship keep going and, you know, keep your significant other aware of what's going on in your atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for that Friday, you know what I'm saying, I went to, you know, the Avalon Hotel, got a, you know, nice little room, you know what I'm saying, and just chilled out, spent some quality time with each other, you know what I mean, and when they got something to eat, we really don't go to expensive places, you know what I'm saying, we do stuff like, it's Roussans and Alpharetta that we really like.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
That's a great one, you know what I'm saying, like, it don't even seem cheap like the other ones. But
they actually put some elbow grease.
They actually put some elbow grease in. That's like some of the, like I tell people, that Roussans up there got some of the best sushi I ate in Atlanta. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, chilled out, you know, just talk, stuff like that, man. It don't really take a whole lot. I don't really need a lot of gifts and stuff like that. It's just sometimes you just need to breathe each other out. You know what I'm saying? And discuss what's going around. You know what I'm saying? And just connect. And that's what I did. And the Saturday went to work. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna talk about that too much.
Yeah, no.
And you know, get ready for Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that was good. That was great. So now we're gonna get into these topics. First topic. It's been a topic for about a week and a half now. We're gonna talk about Kareem Hunt, the former Kansas City running back that got released from there. It's picked up by the Browns. But of course, the reason why he was released from Kansas City is because TMZ released footage of him pushing a woman down and kicking her after she called him a racial slur. So that happened. He was not forthcoming with his organization about it happening or it being a problem. So he lied about it, saying it won't be a problem. And then the footage came out. So the team was like, well, this is a problem, Kareem. So, you know, they released him without prejudice. Yeah, you know, so yeah.
See you later.
See you later. Have a nice life. You know, so now the Browns have picked him up a few months later. So this is a turn of events that didn't happen with Ray Rice. In his similar incident where the videos comes out, he gets released and he never plays again. So, was he deserving or of this second chance? I think that's the rhetoric that's out there. Well, what are you guys' thoughts on this?
I think, you know what I'm saying, if he truly, you know what I'm saying, like, went through the process and found out and got some anger management things going on and stuff like that, I think everybody deserves a second chance. If you grow out of the things that you do, you deserve a second chance. I don't know what were the process because they didn't really put that out there for him to come get to the point of people say, okay, we'll give him a second chance. But hopefully he did. He took steps, you know, so to get it in better, you know, even though, you know, it was a polar Caucasian lady, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, called him a racist slur and got kicked in the belly or something like that. It was not cool, but it's also not cool of her. And I feel like most of the guys that's in, you know, high-profile sports teams and high-profile players in sports organizations need to understand that you cannot you have to grow out of your situations and circumstances. And some of the people you have around, you need to have people around that are going to look out for you and keep you from doing these stupid things. You know what I'm saying? Because in all honesty, it's stupid. You know what I'm saying? For these to be your problems, and because... Man, I just tell people all the time, if things like that trigger people, why you have those people around? They be like, if you know that can happen to you, you know what I'm saying, why do you deal with certain people? You know what I mean? Because just like most of the players that get in this kind of trouble, you be like, yo, man, come on, man. Like, you got to understand who you are. You know what I mean?
His camp, and people in his camp on the footage was trying to hold him back. Was just like saying, chill, and he fought through him, and that's where the kick happened.
You know, I hit him with a stun gun. Drop him right down the spot. Pee on yourself.
Okay.
But yes, thoughts around
yeah. I just think that kind of similar to what Darius was just sharing. It's like you have to. There's a lot of like I don't want to say pressure, but like you hold a certain image, you know, within whatever organization that you're part of, whether it's NFL, whether you're a news, whatever, like something within, you know, the public, like that you're not going to reap some sort of consequences. But I don't know. I just feel like if it was a regular person, like they could have, I don't want to say they would have gotten away with it, but I think because it was publicized and because of his position, of course, like there had to be some, you know, consequences to that. But I like to play devil advocate and talk about and bring up R. Kelly again, because I think, I mean, I'm not saying anyway what he did. I'm not justifying it at all. I think that he, you know, deserves to go to jail. I think that there's a lot of things that, you know, that has happened over the past 20 plus years that has, you know, not been talking about to the degree that it has been, you know, on the scale that it has been now. But like, if there was a second chance given, what would that look like? Right. I mean, I'm just conversation. Not that I say he deserves a second chance or not, but like, what would that look like? Does he even deserve a second chance? You know, I know it's not on the scale of, you know, what Kareem did, but, you know, it's still something that messed up his image, you know, to a certain degree.
Because even, like, I'm thinking about a case where, you know, another thing in sports, like the commentator Marv Albert, who about 20 some odd years ago, I mean, it was a long time ago, but, you know, so sexual stuff like this was covered differently. But there were some allegations against him, and this guy's the most preeminent commentator in basketball. And so he has to leave NBC, but he gets picked up by TNT and resumes his career. So there's a black mark. You know, it was publicized that he was let go. And, you know, anybody who wants to look up Marv Albert can find this. You know what I mean? But at the same time, after a while, someone gave him another shot. So, I mean, there's been examples of a second chance being given, but in this age where you're so much defined by your mistakes, because it can be so easily looked up, what does a second chance look like? That's a very good point. Like, because it's like, it's just so in the limelight, you know, especially this guy just months ago was cut by the team because TMZ had this everywhere, you know, so is it too soon? Do you just have to suspend him for the whole year? You know, because he has to face a suspension. That's another detail of it. The Browns signed him, but he has to face a suspension for what he did, you know, because there's a domestic violence policy or whatever you want to call it. But, because it's not really a standard policy, they just kind of go case by case. But I think in this case, like, do you suspend him for the entire year, and then he can resume his career in 2020? You know, I mean, what do you guys think about that, or just any other thoughts?
I think personally, well, one, I'm a firm believer in second chances, third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances. And that's only because, like, when I think about my life, like, I've been given that. Like, just regardless of, like, what my behavior may have looked like at a certain point in time, like, I have been given second and third and fourth chances. And at the same time, I think people need to be held accountable for their actions.
Absolutely.
I think people need to be held responsible for their actions. And one thing I do not condone personally is, like, abuse. I don't care if it's physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional, spiritual abuse. No abuse is, like, okay in my book. And I think for me, my question with him is, what inside of you made you not respond, but react in that way to someone assaulting you with their words? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're in the public eye. At the end of the day, this is not going to be the last time that you probably will experience something like that. And you have to learn how to not react, but how to respond in a mature way. But I do think that if he is being held accountable, if he, you know, for instance, in this case with him being suspended, if that's a part of, you know, him suffering the consequences for his actions, hopefully he's able to get some sort of, like, therapy, because I don't think that's just something that just miraculously goes away. But I think if he's rehabilitated inwardly, I don't personally see a problem with him being given a second chance on the field with a different team. And I also am someone who thinks that I do not get to determine how long someone suffers for their for their actions.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to think, well, no, this particular set of behaviors warrants 3 months of punishment versus this one warrants a year of punishment. I don't have the authority or the wisdom to be able to say which, who should get less time than the other. So,
yeah.
And just to inform the situation further, he did do an interview with, I think it was Lisa Salters, right after he was released, that he was seeking counseling on this. Some sort of counseling. Amen. So, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but and just like a lot of times, man, like, and I say this often about like people that, like black people that become successful through sports. Most of the time, we come from broken situations. You know what I mean? And we don't know how to respond. We don't know how to respond to things any way but hyper aggressively. You know what I mean? Because just like I tell people, like sometimes that stuff right there, that people think money heals people. It don't. It just really amplifies whatever is already in you because you feel like you can get away with it because you have X amount of dollars or something like that, or you have X amount of work. Because most of the times you look at some of the players, they actually think they can get away from it because of who they are. Because that's the reason why he told his organization that it ain't nothing to worry about. I got it. You know what I mean? Because you thought that was just that, but hey, TMZ is the public great equalizer. If it got dirt on you, they gonna throw it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the great Pandora's box.
Exactly. They ain't gonna hold it for you. They gonna put it out there because they just looking for a story. So just like I tell people, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people that get money and get success and stuff like that in sports arenas that come from lesser situations that most Americans do, they need counseling, man. Yeah. They need to go through some kind of counseling to help them to be able to manage the next phase of their life, because that's why you have so many players go broke. That's how you have so many players in different kind of allegations against them and stuff like that, because it's just you don't understand that this arena don't take that kind of attitude, you know what I'm saying, and character and morality lightly. They're gonna punish you for that. And they're going to punish you more harshly because people look to fill their pockets out of lawsuits. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think, you know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to respond instead of react, like you were saying. Like, it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? You respond to things that you think through. You react to things just like you touch a hot stove and you yank your hand away. You don't care what direction you yanking your hand away from that hot thing. You just want to get your hand away from it. And that's what it is, just knee-jerk reactions to things. And you have to apply that. You have to want to at least give your players and your people in your organization, that leg up, you know what I mean? Because that's why I feel like some of that stuff just be given, and way too soon.
May I add one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
I think also it may have worked out differently for him had he been honest up front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, or if he would have had sober judgment and said, that was not a good situation, his team would have most likely taken the time to go ahead and put certain things in place to protect him. Yeah. And because they've invested in him, and so I think it would have been different if he would have just been honest about it. And I think about even in my own personal career, there's one organization that I work for where I made this huge mistake, and I was honest about it, and I notified our comptroller at the time. He was he's still my mentor. I told him about it, and he helped me clean up the mess. Right. And it wasn't something that tarnished my career there. It didn't. If anything, it helped me grow because we're human. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna do things out of emotions. And I think had he just been honest, from the jump, it probably would have prevented all of this that he's getting now.
I apply the same thing to the Michael Vick thing. I really think if he hadn't lied to the commissioner right before his boys snitched on him and he went to jail for almost 4 years, then I think the NFL would have handled it a little more favorably on his side. Okay, let's work through this, as opposed to, nothing to worry about, even if the implications weren't what they were, same thing with Kareem Hunt, even if the implications weren't getting released and your reputation being tarnished, something wrong occurred still. and you want to be just forthcoming with the people that invest.
You want to get out in front of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, just like I tell people, just like anytime you were a kid and you had to say something to your parent, you know, I'd rather go ahead and tell the truth instead of, because it's like, it just seems like every time I lie and then they find out it's two kinds of betrayal that happen there. You know what I'm saying? At first you lied about what you did, but then you also lied about, you know, you doing it to your parents, so you break trust. Mm-hmm. And therefore it seems harder for an organization or anything to trust you in situations like that. That's why they punish you harshly, because they're like, yo, I mean, I could have helped you. Because just like even you said with Michael Vick, I feel like they could have helped him get over that situation a lot better if they had. I knew what they were dealing with. And just like when you came through with to your mentor and stuff like that, I'm like, oh yeah, I can help you with that. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't try to hide it, because you hide it, it surprised people. It just come up, you're like, oh, yo, I thought you said they had nothing to look for. Right. You know what I'm saying? And not slap me in the face and I'm not prepared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You go to the other extreme almost.
Exactly.
From nothing to this.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's just kind of like just sweeping stuff up under the rug. Eventually you're going to trip over it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you just can't do that to people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that stuff just breaks trust. So I wish you all luck, Mr. Hunt.
Yeah.
Hope you got the medicine that you needed, you know what I mean, so you can just go forward and, you know, stay away from them little women, man.
Yeah, pretty promising career before everything happened. I think there is going to be suspension, at least half a season. I think it's going to be at least 8 games, but hopefully when he resumes, he hasn't lost too much. And hopefully his counseling has taken root.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So transitioning into Amazon, which is also in the news a lot for a lot of reasons. But we'll talk about this first. The fact that they backed out of HQ2 after all that big to-do, that nationwide search. They narrowed it down to so many people, so many cities, Atlanta included. Mm-hmm. Multiple Atlanta communities, as a matter of fact, were vying for this HQ2. The community in Queens got it, and Amazon was ready to set up, but it didn't happen. Just for a variety of reasons, the community felt like it was not going to benefit them because of all the kickbacks that Amazon tends to get, that they tend to demand when they are setting up shop anywhere. So Amazon backed out because the community pushed a multi-billion-dollar corporation out of its community. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially when, like, you know, New York State is a pro-union state, right? And Amazon went down with that. You know what I mean? And then, exactly. You know what I mean? Because pro-union mean the worker is protected, you know what I mean, instead of the company. The company is held responsible for what their actions. Mm-hmm. And I think most companies need to be like that, especially when you're dealing with a lot of day laborers, you know what I'm saying, that work, because a lot of companies tend to, even in my professional, you know what I'm saying, setting, I've seen in jobs that I work in, it's just like companies really don't care about the employee. It's just a number, you know what I mean, like, I tell people, most of the time when people call, they be like, hey, what's your employee number? They don't care about your name, what's your employee number? You know what I mean? So, you know, you have to have that. And plus the community was going to be, it was going to push everybody out that's in the community. Yeah. You know, they can't afford that rent. Like, every time, even they were saying, like, you know, on average that most of the time, like with Google, Amazon, and everything like that, they set up house, you know what I'm saying, in your community, your rent goes up by 50%.
Right, because that was happening. Like, just at the prospect of this
HQ2,
a lot of property values were skyrocketing.
And a lot of people, in a lot of places, it was not even really good for people to live there. There was slums that was going up 50%. You know what I mean? And, like, I tell people, like, yo, man, like, some of the stuff like that, man, they really kill community. They push out people that really can't survive in those communities, which are black and brown people. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to say that. And there was, like, a lot of tech people that, even in the little interview, news synopsis that I was looking at, and he wasn't saying he was just, like, tech-driven people. I was like, I know what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? Because most of those people, white people, you know what I'm saying, Indian You know what I'm saying?
And people not from that community.
Exactly. People not from that community. So there's always going to be a bunch of transplants.
Yes.
And all the people that from Queens was going to get kicked out.
Yep.
And I know Amazon was promising like a lot of incentives, like training kids, you know, putting programs at school and stuff like that. But how often do that stuff go through?
Yeah. Right. And how long will it take?
And how long will it take? You know what I mean? Like, that stuff is long run stuff. Like, a lot of communities, dying communities and stuff, like, they need action now. And if all you're going to do is soak up all the resources before you put back in, that means the people that needed those resources are going to be pushed out by that time that you even able to put those incentives into the community. So I say it's a no-go too. And I'm glad they didn't come to Atlanta, because some of the places they were talking about going, all the black people that's in Stockbridge and stuff like that, they're gone.
Oh, okay, so I can speak to one of the opportunities that was discussed was basically the area I'm from that has become Stonecrest, Georgia, proposed this. It was a wild proposal to basically annex an entire parcel of land and then name it Amazon, Georgia. So basically give them their own municipality in which to operate.
Zip code and everything.
And that's how Stonecrest's proposal was to get Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course, swing and a miss.
Amazon, Georgia.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Amazon.
Hey, where you live at? I'm from the other Amazon. You know what I mean? Not Augusta, not Athens, not Atlanta, Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, we scan our heads in at the county line. They were like, hey,
all the babies are born with barcodes.
Exactly. Welcome back, Darius.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
Did you get your shipment in today? It was like, nah, cuz. Stay out my business, Alexa, before I punch in your face.
Sounds like Revelation.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
A whole other conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, I think forward, man, not back. You know what I mean? I know what stuff like that comes, it'd be other stuff. But anyway, we ain't talking about that today.
I don't have my Revelation board, my diagram.
Exactly. Like, see when this starts, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we ain't doing that today.
But yes, so yeah, a lot of communities were vying for this, thinking that, you know, the 25,000 jobs that, you know, would affect the community, and clearly that was not going to be the case, because the people of Queens felt, figured out pretty quickly that those jobs would go to outsiders, though, you know, the best and brightest coming from all over the world. And I can only imagine if this happened in other communities that wanted it more, you know, and to see it play out, because people are angry about Amazon's packages right now, like what they're getting, you know, like on the $11.2 billion that they're going to make in profit, nothing is going to get taxed. Nothing.
Wow.
Zero.
That's amazing, man.
Through all these loopholes and concessions
exactly,
and whatnot.
Exactly.
Art, Ebony, I see you stewing.
I think that's one of my big issues with Amazon and with large corporations, and I think they're able to, yes, Amazon is able to offer jobs to a certain number of people, and at the same time, so many companies have gone out of business as a result of their business. And, people, patronizing, their business. And I think for me, in my mind, it's the average middle-class person is having a hard time when it comes to just living life, when it comes to finances, and yet $1 billion corporation, a billionaire owner can just pay nothing, and that to me is a problem. That to me is a sign that something with our system needs to change.
And that's something that I often talk about, because it's like I tell people, it's like, yo, you gotta understand, all these breaks they're giving, it ain't helping the average Joe. No. It's only helping the people that at the top of the top. There's no trickle down. They're not building people up to say, okay, I'm making it a way for you to be able to have a sustainable living.
Yeah.
I'm just getting by so I can keep my quote unquote way of living up. You know what I mean? Or even the better my way of living, or the people in my head departments. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the people that soak it up. You know what I mean? Just like the VPs, the treasurers, the chairmen, and all that stuff like that. They soak up all that profit. Yeah. You know, everybody else, and then you ask for a raise, they look at you like, you're crazy. It's like, oh, but you said in the meeting we got $2.2 billion, one of the biggest years we ever had, and I'm asking for $1.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's too much, because if we do that, we won't have it. Well, hey, cut us some of that money out them bonuses. You know what I'm saying? And even like, and that's what I'm saying, like, that's what corporations don't think about. It's like, I tell people, man, I'm telling you, when you listen to people talk, listen to them what they saying, because they telling you what's going on in the corporation, and they letting you know that, yo, at the end of the day, what does he want? Anyway, but at the end of the day, those corporations are not looking out for the regular people, that middle class person, that person, that kid that's getting his first job and trying to make it, feeling like they can go somewhere, create a life. Oftentimes, these jobs now don't pay enough money for you to create a life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's people out here, roommates at 30-something years old, you know what I'm saying? Because just like now, just like I talk about teachers and stuff all the time, like these are some of the lowest paid, highest, they expect so much, high expectancy jobs. They expect so much from these people, but they pay them nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then you be wondering why they don't want to do that, and why teacher raising people don't want to be teachers no more, and people trying not to work regular jobs and trying to be better and trying to do other things, and you like, oh, these jobs are getting taken up by whatever they're getting taken up by. You know what I mean? And then you wonder why those things are going and passing away, and people don't have loyalty to jobs anymore, because the jobs don't have loyalty to the people. So you kind of got to go hand in hand. Yeah. Look out for me, I look out for you. Yeah. That's, you know, and that's something that all jobs are done away with. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they used to have pensions.
Yeah.
And now it's just, we have defined benefit contributions where we'll give aside, you know, a certain percentage or a certain amount, but it's you have to also be contributing. And even then it's like, you know, my grandfather, you know, when he retired, like, he got a lot of money for that. Like, you know, that's what corporations did. Like, they invested into their people, and now they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that when it comes to retirement. They don't want to do that when it comes to the healthcare. Like, they push the healthcare costs, like the premiums onto employees. And I think at the end of the day, like, people need to earn a living wage. And so, like, for instance, with, you know, Amazon second headquarters, 25,000 jobs, will those people be able to afford to live in the area where the headquarters is?
Exactly.
You know, I think about Atlanta. Like, Atlanta has grown so much over the last several years.
Yeah, last 10 at least.
The cost of living has, like, skyrocketed, and yet so many companies and businesses and organizations have not, like, their pay has not, you know, increased in alignment with that. So I have my own thoughts about, like, Amazon and this whole not paying tax thing. So
and I feel like those are the things necessary, and that's things I talk about to people all the time, man. It's like, you know, y'all understand, like, these jobs, a lot of people can't even live where they work. You know what I mean? Like, because so many people travel for their jobs now, because they try to live somewhere where the cost of living is, you know, more affordable, but they drive 35, 40 minutes to work. You know what I mean? Or more. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you can't sustain the living. They don't pay you enough to live in that area. You know what I mean? Right. And that's the crazy part, because back in the day, most people live where they work. Yeah. You rarely see that now. You know what I mean? You rarely see people working where they live. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you can't afford it. Like, that's a lot of people working, like, different warehouses and stuff, different corporations in Alpharetta. I guarantee 90% of those people don't even live in Alpharetta.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? So it's just the crazy parts of, like, business and corporations and stuff like that. The people don't matter no more. Just like I said, most people are employees. That's why I tell people, you know, like, take care of your money. You know what I mean? Because you may be on the chopping block one day. So you have to develop some kind of financial literacy in order to make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got some commentary here. So let's see where it starts. Armani, you know, who's been a guest on this show, he says, that's why I literally work for myself now. You know, because, I mean, I do feel like that, where I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking of second and third hustles, you know what I mean, in addition to my job now. And, you know, my job is cool, you know, but I think we realize more and more as a society that business is what it is.
Yeah.
It is business. And that whole sense of family that you get from joining a company, it's less and less pronounced in what we have thought it to be, you know. So I think they went on to say, you want happy customers, create happy employees, says Chris Maxwell.
Absolutely. Yes, Chris. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, and that's getting further and further away from the corporate eye for whatever reason. Because we have a chance to express ourselves as consumers, don't we not?
Yeah.
You know, like or as consumers or as employees. Like, you know, we don't feel like family, we don't feel invested in. Yeah. So so it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I think with that, so I have been working in accounting now for 8.5 years. And one of my best friends is Carla Doe. Wow. And Carla, one thing she has always shared is do not leave one job without having gotten something from it. And so one of the things that I have been committed to is even if like the agency or the organization may not think, okay, she's someone worth investing in, I will figure something out where I will get something out of it, whether it's a degree, a certification. Like there are still things that we can do at our places of employment to be able to reap the benefits to take us and apply in a different arena, whether it's working for another company or working for ourselves. So.
Right, because you could use that experience at one company that you're not valued at to work for another company that, you know, may be a better spot for you.
You're right. So. And that's something I believe too. Like I was just like, yo, if you ain't at your job learning something that you could take away from it, and if you just working just to be working, you ain't really doing yourself any justice. Because it's things you can learn, you know what I mean? Just like there's so many things that I'm learning now, you know what I'm saying? Even in people and personnel aspects and then what to take care of. Just like, you know, I get a company and I know how I would want to treat my employees. I know things that I would want to put in place to be able to take care of them. Because I know one thing, if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the thing of it is you have to allow them to buy into something. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than themselves, because if you like build that family aspect and stuff like that, that they're able to, you know, say, okay, I know I can work hard for this person, or I'll go the extra mile for this person, because this person always goes the extra mile for me. Yeah. You know, and I feel like that's one thing that back in the day, you know, the corporations back in the day, they used to head up like Sears and all that stuff like that. They used to have all these amazing pensions for their employees and stuff. They got away from that, and then like they started to die out. You know what I mean? You see several corporations just fading away because it's like they're not taking care of the people. You know what I mean? So therefore, everything else slips through the cracks. The more holes you open up in your ship, the more it sinks. Yeah. So, you gotta take care of your people. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to invest in your people. You can't just think about lining your pockets, because you know what I'm saying. Fed miles, or you know. Fed people will take care of you.
I mean, and eventually the margins, the profit margins eventually have to shrink. I mean, it doesn't just go up into infinity. You have to come to a point to where, yes, you're in it to make money for these margins to go up, but you have to steady those margins to feed the people that are making it happen. You know what I mean? Like, it can't just be like, okay, they have to go up, but you know, to what end? Yeah. You know what I mean? So. And
with that, like, it costs more to lose an employee than it does to retain that employee. Right.
Yes.
Because, you know, the likelihood of if an employee leaves and you have to, you know, find someone to replace that person, you have to train that person, but you're also probably going to pay that person more than what you were paying the employee who left, because it now requires more money to bring people in for recruitment. So, you know, I just think it's better on both sides to just, again, invest in your people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's real.
All right.
Well, your mom and Melanie say nothing, but you know what I mean?
I don't know. I didn't really have anything to...
Yeah, I know.
I hadn't noticed that to you point.
Young Thundercat.
I was just... You know, agreeing.
Young Thundercat.
Yeah. speechless.
I really don't. I agree with everything that you guys said. I don't really have anything to.
Came in with the voice on, with the Beyonce voice.
But yes,
I'm so done. Y'all pretty much summed it up. I don't have anything to say.
I just make sure you're alive.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah. All right.
But yes, we have Ebony Rogers here.
Yes.
In studio. I want to say that.
Yes. So, just start off by tell us your background and how you got into it.
Hold up.
What? Oh.
Nah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. So I've known since I was a kid that I wanted to be an accountant.
Okay.
So I went to an elementary school in Savannah that had a magnet program, and we, for the last hour of every school day, had like a community. So students went to work as like teachers, merchants, police officers, attorneys, accountants, that kind of thing. So we learned how to work, earn a paycheck, we got taxes taken out, all of those things. Oh. And so like since I was like 8 years old, like I knew, okay, I want to be an accountant. And I went to high school, took my first accounting class, went to college, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I went to Oglethorpe University, and then after graduating, I decided to stay in Atlanta because at that point, I knew I wanted to start my career here. And then also I had developed some great relationships with people at church. So it just worked out. So since then, I have worked in corporate America. I worked in corporate America for about 2.5 years. And I would say 2 years in, I was starting to itch to like work with the nonprofit sector because I felt like I really wanted my work to have meaning. Mm-hmm. And so at the same time, I couldn't financially just quit my job and become a volunteer somewhere. Right. So one of my friends told me it might be good to try to get in with the nonprofit sector as a person who works in finance. And so since then, I've had the opportunity to work with 2 amazing nonprofits. I got certified as a CPA in 2015, March 20th of 2015. And that was like my like wildest dream come true. So yeah. And that took a lot of like support from like friends. I have an amazing tribe. And I'm convinced that only God could have like gotten me through that like entire, process. Yeah. So yeah.
I remember that time you used to come by the house and study and stuff. You know what I mean?
Lots of study nights.
Yeah. It's good. So, like I ain't never met nobody said I want to be an accountant.
Right.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, I never heard nobody say that ever. Like, it's like, that's like, I knew I was a kid. I was like, I'm gonna be out here handling these corporation taxes, you know what I mean? Is what I want to do. Get my little briefcase and walk into the school ready, doing children taxes. Like, this how much candy, you know what I mean, you allow for the year because,
what's your allowance looking
like? Your annual income is not matching your assets and just deductions. I'm just throwing tax words out there. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
That's so dumb.
But, yeah, but other than, just like, what kind of, accounting do you do with your focus, Because I think I don't know nothing about accounting. I just know I took one class and I hated every bit of it.
Oh.
So there are different areas of accounting. A lot of people, when they think of accountants, they think of taxes.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know, yes, taxes is a part of like accounting and finance, but like every accountant does not specialize in that.
Yeah.
So there are some tax accountants. There are some accountants that do financial accounting and reporting, which is what I do. Mm-hmm. So for like corporations, nonprofits, governmental agencies. And so basically we're reviewing like the financial statements. Like we're recording all of the entries, like so all of the revenue, all of the expenses that go out, the cash that comes in, like we're accounting for all of that. And then you also have managerial accounting, which is more of like cost accounting, which like corporations that like manufacturers, they generally have like managerial accounting in addition to like financial accounting. And the thing is like I know accounting is not like the most exciting topic.
Yeah, I'm afraid just saying you make my skin itch. Like,
one thing I want to say is like, people sometimes will ask like, or they'll say you must be good with numbers, and it's like it really is just like basic arithmetic, like adding, subtracting. Like if you can do that, you can do accounting.
I failed accounting. I can tell you that now. I failed. Once it started talking about ledgers and assets and deductibles, I was just like, this is not math. You said it was simple. This is words. I don't like words and numbers together. I like either reading or math. You know what I mean?
I am so dead.
I just hope that, I've worked in accounting for 8.5 years, and I just want to take the experience that I have and like eventually apply it in a different arena. So for instance, like I shared earlier, my father passed away last year, and my mom passed away 11.5 years ago. And so one of the things that I want to do is start a nonprofit and to have 2 separate initiatives to honor each of my parents. Okay. And so for the one for my father, I want it to be an initiative that teaches basic financial principles to underprivileged minority youth.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to do that is because like there were like this was years ago. I watched I think it's ESPN, what is it, 30 for 30? And it was like 30 for 30 broke, and like there were two guys I don't even remember their names, but like one guy, he signed a contract I think with the NFL for like millions of dollars, but didn't even know how to write a check himself. So that to me was alarming. I know people don't write checks generally anymore, but at the time it's like that's still you need to know how to do that. Yeah. And then also another guy, he cashed his first check with the NFL at a check cashing joint. Like he didn't even have a bank account, like a basic like I'm just putting my money in, this is direct deposit. No, like he went to a check cashing place, and like for me, it's one of those things. Like,
I bet you that check cashing place was glad to see them. They're like, you said how much? Hey, babe, we finna get some money off him. Cash this check now before he think about it. Because they get a big percentage of check cashing place. They be chomping, like the RS of the check cashing place, buddy.
They do, and so just think they got that money and he didn't get to keep it.
Exactly. You was like, I guarantee that person that one was like, are you sure? I want to catch your check, but
our fee just jumped up to 90%.
You know what I'm saying? So and I understand that too, because it's like I promise you, I knew about, I went to school during the time where they were teaching kids there at school, you know what I mean? So I knew how to write a check, stuff like that, but I still didn't have, like, real financial literacy. I didn't understand credit cards and how big of a hole you could dig for yourself with those joints. And I didn't understand, the meaning of building a savings and kind of managing, having a budget for yourself, because it's like, my wife introduced that to me because I just like, I paid all my bills. All this money I got is mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm finna go buy me some shoes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe go get me a little something to eat. Maybe take a little honey dip out, get her something to eat. And that's it. My money. Turn up. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand like, it's a tomorrow coming. Yeah. I have to prepare for that tomorrow. I promise you, I ain't learned that until my 30s. When I turned 30, that's when I started thinking about like money. I had to contribute that to my roommate Kevin Lane, because I was like, I did not know nothing, because he had looked at my stuff and he was like, hey man, you do pretty well for yourself. I was like, oh man, I do. They're like, if you just follow this budget, you'll be okay. I was like, what is a budget? What do you do?
He was always checking his budget. It was like on a spreadsheet. Like, he was so meticulous.
I ain't never understand that. I was like, you check this thing like every 2 days. I don't understand what could have changed that much in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? But he tried to work one for me, and I tried to stick to it, and I was like, nah, man, I'm going to have to wait for a wife or something. Because I can't do it. I ain't got the discipline. I ain't finna check it, and I'm not finna redo it every month. Same bills come out every month. I'm out here balling on a no budget.
On a no budget.
You know what I'm saying? But then I got married, and she was like, you finna budget on a budget. And I was like, dang, for real? So I just can't go buy shoes no more? But anyway.
Yeah,
go ahead. Man.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because that's something I lacked too growing up, just financial literacy and just how to manage my money well. Because I can remember just being a kid and getting $20 and going to the Dollar Tree and come out with $1.
Dollar Tree?
Dollar Tree, Dollar General.
I forgot you grew up in Jessup.
Yeah, I did. And we didn't have many selections. But no, so I think that those type of habits, carry over, and then even when you're trying to learn, it's so hard to break those type of habits. I think that's something that I'm like really learning is just like I understand that I need to be better at my budgeting, and which is why I have reached out to get financial advice, not just from personal but like businesses, because I co-own businesses with these people, but I also have with these people. Sorry.
What do you mean?
We got names.
These amazing brothers, Stevie Dill and Darius J, and also Keegan, and then I have things that I do on my own. So it's definitely going to be pertinent for me to do that, because something my dad always taught me was that whatever you do in your personal life will carry over to your business.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's why I've been so focused on like just how I budget my stuff for my personal life, so that when it does, prayerfully I'll have somebody handling that for me. But I still want to know how to do it myself, so I'm not getting gypped either out of my money. But I think it's just good overall just to have just kind of like the basics, but also just like I just wish somebody would have taught me like what is a credit card, what is it used for, because I know I abused that. What is a budget? How do you budget effectively, and not even just effectively, but like with what you have, how can I prepare myself, like set myself up for the future. I have no savings. I had no savings. I have one now, but like that was something that was just like, I don't need a savings, but then there's times when emergencies happen. So now I'm calling, hey guys, can I, and now I borrow money from other people, and then I gotta pay them back. So when I get my money, I still don't have money because I'm paying it back, whether I bought
PayPal.
Exactly. And so it's just like, I think that's something that I wish I had growing up, but now that I have access to it and I'm gaining from it, it's still hard to break those cycles. But it's still something that I still want to do. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So I feel like if I started at a younger age, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna save my allowance. I'm gonna save the little money that I have, because this is what that means, and just kind of having proper etiquette of saving, like treating money and how to treat money, because it was just like, it was in my head 1 minute and going to the next. And then it's like, it's almost like one of those things where he's like, oh, let me go to the store, I bought all this candy or whatever. And then like the next day, like there was a greater opportunity to use my money in a more efficient way. And now I don't have it anymore. So yeah, I whenever you start that, let me know.
And you said one thing you wanted to start too. One was for your father. What's the other one?
So the other one would be for my mom in her honor. I don't have any connections to behavioral health therapists or anything like that, but I would like to help establish like some sort of network of behavioral health specialists to help those same underprivileged minority youth, like to overcome childhood trauma. So I think there are a lot of like brown and black kids that grew up in these communities that like they're suffering, and they're suffering silently, and the people that are their parents or guardian, like they're unable to help them because they themselves are broken and hurting. And I just really think that like if we can help like a child's mental and emotional development along with their financial development, I think that will change the narrative for so many people.
I 100% believe that, because like people don't understand that we do a lot of things out of emotions. You know what I'm saying? Even our spending habits can waver through emotions and how we feel about a day or something like that. Just like people use, say, retail therapy, but sometimes they often abuse that and go out of their means to do something to even just get some kind of get some serotonin levels up or something like that in their body. And I feel like if we do heal, the mental aspect, everything will go with it. You'll be able to, make, more rational decisions, with your money, and you won't be doing everything out of emotion. Because I know sometimes I buy something, it just won't be it won't be like, yo, I really need this. It's just like, this is going to make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? It's a cover up something that I'm feeling and I need to express. You know what I mean? And I feel like those two things do go hand in hand, and it often spills over in more than just finances. Is, you know, in relations with people and stuff like that. It just, you heal the person, you can heal their whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those, you are the nucleus of whatever you have going on in your life. You know what I mean? Once you boil it down, it comes from a choice that you made.
Yeah.
And often, sometimes those choices come out of pain, especially when we are broken and we don't know that we're broken, or we feel like this brokenness is just the reality that we have to live with.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's not. It's just something that we have to learn to accept and say, yo, this ain't okay. You know what I'm saying? I can feel better. You know what I'm saying? I can be better. You know what I mean? And that oftentimes ain't a open door for a lot of kids in underprivileged areas. It's just not. It's just that door seems shut.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's still a stigma. Like, I remember as a kid, like, you know, my grandma, you know, and I don't know if she's the only one, but it's like, you know, what happens in this house stays in this house. And like, you know, at the time, black folk didn't believe in therapy. And so I think until the stigma goes away, you know, people will continue to have a hard time, especially these kids that, you know, like, there are kids who go to school hungry. Like, I've never gone to school hungry. Like, there's some things that these kids are like dealing with at home, and they need a healthy outlet. There are outlets available, but it's not necessarily something that's going to help them to ultimately grow and mature into healthy, whole people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I think true. When you said that, that's the thought that immediately jumped in my mind was, you know, what happens in this house stays in this house. So it's no like encouragement or any like, you know, push to be like, hey, you know, what's hurting you, you need to go get help with this. Like, no, if it's hurting, then it's just gonna have to hurt because nobody else needs to know about it. And I think that's kind of the things that, like, I just remember too, you know, is, you know, there'll be things that will happen and I wouldn't be prompted to get open about it, or I'll be scared to get open about it because of just the repercussions that will follow. And it's like, it's still, I think, when I finally started going to therapy, it was the best thing that I could have done, but it was scary because it's like, I'm about to, you know, get open about all these different things that I've been suppressing for so many years, so many different dynamics, so many different things that goes into it. It's like, am I really ready to deal with this stuff? It was a lot. Like, and even just being in therapy, there was so much that was attached to different things that I didn't even realize or like just even like put together. And I was just like, it hurt. I remember one of my sessions, all I did was cry because I was just like, wow, I did not know that this one act, this one incident, and me holding it for 20 plus years put that much effect on all of my relationships, especially the ones that I was, you know, with for majority of my life. And then you putting these things together and it's like, man, like, I didn't even know that, and this is why I treat people this way, and this is why I respond in this way, because I'm trying to defend myself, or I'm trying to protect myself, or I'm trying to survive, or whatever the mentality is. It's like, it's nothing against the person. It's just because I've, you know, tried to protect myself for so long because of, you know, because I've been hurt in this way or that way, or one way or another. Like, and now that I'm letting somebody in, it's still scary. Like, I still haven't let you in all the way because it's like, I know I need to talk about it, but I'm afraid to because of all the different things that I've grown up with. Like, oh, there's gonna be a repercussion if I, you know, get open about this, because it was always told to me that if this leaves this house, you know, there's gonna be trouble. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely feel like that's something that needs to be broken for sure.
Yeah, because even like as we talk about this stuff, I think about a lot of stuff that I went through as a kid. Cause it's like, you know, like I tell people like, oh, you're so confident and stuff like that. And I'll be like, yo, I'll tell you something, this was a process. Trust me. And it started when I was 10. You know what I mean? Because at 10, I ain't had no confidence. I tried to kill myself, everything. You know what I mean? And people's like, yo, why would a 10-year-old? One of the counselors I asked, that was first question, he said, why would you want to kill yourself? You're only 10. I was just like, yo, you don't grow up where I grew up at. You know what I'm saying? This life that you thinking about, it ain't the life that I got. You know what I mean? So, and, you know what I mean, just struggle with that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And hurt, you know what I mean? Felt unworthy, you know what I mean? Felt, you know what I mean, like my life didn't matter, stuff like that, you know what I mean? And with throughout my life, and I even at that time, you know what I'm saying, I don't think people were equipped to handle, you know what I'm saying, people that I was dealing with wasn't equipped to handle what I was going through. So it took me a lot of years to go and grow through and deal with different people, deal with different counselors and stuff like that in order to get healed, until I found somebody that was like, oh, I get it, you know what I mean, and truly, you know, worked on fixing me and helping me to fix myself and building my confidence. So, you know, I get that because I have seen that firsthand. I seen one of my friends, she went through a whole bunch of stuff, and like it was just hard. I saw trauma all around me. You know what I mean? I saw, you know, friends die before my eyes, and it kind of like just build up on me. And I was telling Melanie on this one time, I just thought I was cursed. I thought all my friends, if you befriended me, you were gonna die. Then I just started keeping people away from me. I was just like, don't befriend me because you may not make it. You know what I mean? I touch you, you die. You know what I mean? So it affected my relationships with people. So I just kind of like just stayed away from people, and I was just like, I'm just encapsulate myself and annex myself away from society because I don't think I'm supposed to be a part of society because I think I am cursed. You know what I mean? But I ain't had nobody to tell me that, and I ain't had nobody to really express that to because, you know, if some people don't understand, even like your parents and stuff like that, they ain't gonna point you in the right direction. Just like, yo, sleep it off or whatever, it'll be all right in the morning. You wake up, and sometimes you just wake up in the same nightmare over and over and over again. It ain't getting better, it's just sticking around, and now it becomes a reality. Now you think you deserve this reality, and now you're just sitting there festering, not getting better, but you trying to cope and, like you saying, surviving. Right. You know what I mean? So I was always in a survival state, and it made me a more defensive person. I wasn't accepting of many people and stuff like that. Like I tell people, this happiness that you see on me now was some happiness that had to be fought for. You know what I mean? Like I truly had to fight for this. You know what I'm saying? This state of mind, this strength. You know what I mean? So I definitely get that. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely. That's awesome and amazing that you would want to do things like that, you know, especially in honor, you know, of your parents, you know, to help those who don't have the resources to be able to do so. I think that's going to make a major impact within that community.
Thank you.
Because it's, you know, because I just think that I think about even just educators, you know, like they're not just educators, they're literally mentors, you know, to these people, to these same people who live in broken homes that, you know, are raising their other siblings at a young age, you know, that don't have, you know, the things that they need, you know, and it's like this cycle, this keeps repeating itself till someone like yourself steps in, or just like, you know, like you said, even, you know, you said earlier, it's like some of these kids don't even know where to begin. They can't even look to their own parents because they themselves haven't even dealt with the brokenness that they've experienced over the years. And I think that about, you know, me and my mom, like, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this because I feel like we've grown to a place. I think when I was growing up, like, me and my mom didn't have the best relationship. You know, with one another in the same household. We rarely said I love you to each other. And I think just moving away, going to college is what strengthened our relationship, honestly, because one, you know, my dad and my mom aren't married, and I think when I got to college, there was a lot of just things going on in the background and me getting there. And I think when my dad had left that day, I literally just realized how broken my family was. I think there was just, you know, times where I've always wished that, I wish my mom and my dad were together. You know, I have friends who had both parents in the home, and I don't have that luxury, and all these different things. And then so they would say stuff like how they'd be mad at their parents, like, but I just wish I had parents in the same household to be mad at, you know. But I mean, growing older, it's like that definitely wouldn't have worked. But I think in that moment I was like, man, like, it's so like my mom has been through so much, even just with her own parents, and just hearing about the things that they've been through. And, you know, even when I was younger, like I didn't really have a relationship with my grandfather, which is her dad. because he was in and out of jail. He was in and out of prison. And the way that we communicate most of the time was through cards and letters. So I can only imagine what effect that, put on her, and how that, affected our relationship, how that affected the relationship she had with my father. And it's just me feeling like I was always in the middle, like this tug of war of like, okay, my mom over here, dad over here, the only way they know about each other is through me. And so I'm like, this tug of war is like, it doesn't feel good, especially now being an adult. As a kid, it's like, you ain't got no choice. I'm living with my mom too, so it's like, I really never knew what was going on in the background of things. But when you become more aware of things, it just helps you see things in a different light. But what I can say now is because me and my mom had the proper conversations, and I feel like my mom is seeking help, and she's getting more open about the things that she's dealing with, it makes room for us to be more honest with one another, even though I don't really know how I can help her. But what I do know is I can create a safe space between the both of us to be like, hey mom, you know what, like I have to remind her, like, you're perfect for us. Because there's moments where she felt doubtful about her, job of being a mom and, not being able to do all that she could for us. But, like, and I remember one time she broke because she felt like she just wasn't the best mom. And I'm like, don't you ever say anything like that. No matter how much we may get on your nerves, how much we may be disobedient or want to do our own thing, like, you're the best mom that we could ever asked for. You only did what you knew how to do because of what you exactly had. And so I think that's something I try to constantly remind her of, and I think that just continues to strengthen our relationship even more. So I mean, hopefully that prompts her to continue to dig and get open about the things that she needs to release within herself so that she can become the best version of herself. But I think I always strive to just have those honest conversations with her to just kind of create this safe place of, like, if you're hurting, like, because my mom now, sometimes she just called me to just get open or just to pray. And it's just the most, beautiful conversations that come from that. Just the fact that I have that type of relationship with my mom to where we could just be comfortable and talk about things that are hurting us, but also praying for one another that we can overcome it together. Wow, so, man. Yeah.
Golly, man. I think I got the name of this episode. But, yeah. Stephen, you got any thoughts over there, man?
I mean, so financial literacy, I would just wonder, as a financial professional, what are the most common things that you see people struggle with in that arena? What would be like maybe the one thing that you see the most that people struggle with when they come to you or you look over their finances?
I think, oh goodness, it's probably credit. Like taking into account people's credit, or them making decisions that have negatively affected their credit. And some of that goes back to not necessarily budgeting. Like I remember there was one point where I had a budget and it was on a computer, it was on a spreadsheet, but I wasn't actively like looking at it, checking it each month. And so like I would pay my bills, kind of like Darius said, and then like, oh, what's left? I'm just like,
ball out.
Yeah. And then, I remember one day when I like really like looked at it, I was like, Ebony, you have more room in this than you thought you did. Yeah. And I think that's, I think those can sometimes go hand in hand. So I think one, it's people not developing a budget. And I'm one of those people where I have like a $0 based budget, and for people who've taken Dave Ramsey, like that basically you assign every dollar to a certain category, even if if you have $76 left over after everything you've budgeted for, put that 76 to miscellaneous if you really cannot think of any other place for it. And so I think one, definitely having a budget, but also like people's like credit. And sometimes I know that, some of it is, I know when people go through divorces, sometimes they're nasty divorces, and that can negatively impact someone's credit score. Someone can, lose their job, and as a result, their house goes into foreclosure, or they are at risk for losing their car. Sometimes people have like medical bills that, they were not anticipating. And so as a result, that has negatively impacted their credit. But some of it is just
avoidable.
Just absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing. And so I think for instance, this morning I read an article that said 7 million auto loans are at risk for repossession, like where people are like 90 days past due on their auto loans. And just, again, some of that could be based on life circumstances. So like for people who are, who lost a job, lost a family member, like I'm not, like this isn't for those people, because those are things that are really beyond our control. Right. But for, I think it's irresponsible for someone to take on a car payment that they practically cannot afford.
Wow.
Like, I remember hearing someone share like, their car payment was like $700 and something odd dollars. And I was like, oh my goodness.
What? Like, you ain't got no BMW 7 Series.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, that's a lot of money for something that is going to depreciate in value. One, as soon as you drive it off the lot, but quickly over time. Yeah. And so I think, if people just like thought things like decisions like that through, I think they would be in a better position. And some people are like, if you have all this cash saved, you're good, your credit doesn't matter. No, even if you've got $50,000 set aside saved, if you have poor credit, that will negatively affect the things that you were able to purchase. It can affect your life in a negative way. And so, like, I'll give an example. Right. Anyone who's paying an interest rate on an automobile that's in the double digits, there's a problem. Like, there are a lot of buy here, pay here places, where they give people second chances. And what people fail to realize is that at an interest rate that high, by the time you're a year or two into financing it, you're upside down on the loan, which makes it harder for you to refinance at a lower interest rate. And so again, I think it's just like, it goes back to like awareness. Like some people just honestly don't know what they're getting themselves into. There's something that has become pretty popular. It's the 90 days, same as cash, or 6 months, same as cash. And so this is the thing. And please always read. Like, I know, we say, I have read and, and I agree to the terms, but we don't always do that. But if you can, please, when it comes to something where you are like purchasing something, please, 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 like read over it, because with 90 days, same as cash, or 6 months, same as cash, what they do is, okay, let's just say I go and I want to buy a computer, and I decide to finance a computer through Best Buy. Again, 6 months, same as cash. If I don't pay for it within those 6 months, all of that interest that would have, that I would have been paying
compounds.
It compounds, but I now have to pay it because I didn't pay it off within those 6 months. And so, you have to take into account, is the interest being compounded annually, monthly, or daily? Now companies are doing it where it's daily. And so again, like, you need to be very mindful, like always read. Like if you are, again, making some sort of like major purchase, especially if it's on a line of credit, you need to make sure that you understand like what you are reading. And in cases like that, a lot of people, they intend to pay within 6 months, but again, life happens. Stuff happens. Your car needs a new, alternator, or your kid, ends up going to the doctor, or just fill in the blank. Like sometimes life happens and we're unable to do certain things. And so in this case, like, you risk having to pay all of that interest that has been compounding from the moment you signed your name. And so those are things that I generally see, things that I think people need to be very mindful of, honestly.
Man, that happened to be on a couple of things. My mattress and my refrigerator. And my refrigerator I felt especially dumb about because, I was in this position where I needed to get a car later on, and I needed to get a refrigerator. So I was like, okay, let me do this finance thing instead of pay for it all at once. I had the money to pay for it all at once, but I was like, nah, I'll pay it off. You know what I mean? I'm going to beat this 90 days, same as cash, whatever. Turns out I couldn't, and I ended up paying so much more for it like a lot more. And then the terms that they lock you into that you would never otherwise agree to if you read like cover to cover. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, if you're on this payment plan, you don't pay it within this amount of time, then you have to pay 10 more months at this rate that you agreed to, and you cannot cancel it until you pay these 10 months. And then you have to notify them that you're finished, even though you're done. Amount-wise, you have to notify them. Otherwise, you got to pay for a whole nother year or something. It'll be like terms like that, you know, like because you signed the dotted line.
Yeah.
Long shark.
And you assume that responsibility. One thing I see sometimes too, as well, is like, you know, and no offense to people who do this, but no, I'm just keeping it real. These tax advances.
No, don't do it. Sorry.
So you said it. I didn't even have to say. Please do not do it. Please do not do it. Even things like
it's a loan.
Title Max, when they say,
it's a loan.
Get your title back with Title Max and things like that. Again, like if you do not pay within a certain time, like they are relentless when it comes to getting their money back. And you know, again, a lot of people, I think, just because we didn't grow up with, you know, this kind of like knowledge. We didn't grow up with, you know, seeing good examples of, or we all didn't grow up, you know, with good examples of people who were able to like, you know, manage their finances well. And as a result, like we make these, God bless you, we make these choices. And so those are things that I definitely encourage people, please avoid. Like, please don't go out and get a tax advance, loan. You know, just wait for your refund if you're getting one. You know, when it comes to your auto loan, like reconsider other things. If you finance through a credit union, see if you can pay interest only, something like. But please do not go to places like that because they take advantage of people. Bless you.
And that's one thing that I was about to get on too. Like, it's the reason why you see them at all the corners in the hood. You know what I mean? Because they know this is what people gonna try to come get a quick fix for. You know what I mean? They're like the drug dealers of the financial institution. You know what I mean? They coming to take advantage of your weakness. You know what I mean? So it's the reason why you see a Title Max on all the corners in all impoverished areas in Atlanta, Georgia. You don't see them joints like that in Alpharetta and stuff like that. Because they know better. They feel they know they can't make no money there. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Be careful with your surroundings, and if you think it may be there to help, but they're going to end up destroying you in the end. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because just like those, I had a thing back in the day, probably about 10 years ago, with Title Max. It took me 10 years to get out of it. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, I don't care. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, them jokes was compounding that interest so hard, so fast, By the time I paid attention to it, I was just like, I just got $800 funky dollars from y'all, man. Like, now I got to give y'all $8,000? Jesus Christ. Yeah. You know what? You can go get that car. It's behind my grandma's house. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want it no more.
And Lincoln and Georgia, if you got a tow truck, you can get it. It ain't running no more, but it's yours. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Golly, I mean, it's like you would have to pay these things back like the next day for them to be worth it.
I'm trying to tell you, like, in that, oftentimes that ain't never the case. Like, everybody be like, I can do it 90 days, same as cash, bro. If you ain't got the money right now, you ain't gonna have it 90 days from now, because I guarantee that's the reason why you're here. Yeah. You know what I mean? So don't trap yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you have trapped yourself, like there are ways to resolve that without like going further under. Like I remember talking to a friend, and she gave the example of she forgot to give a notice to her complex to let them know they were moving. And so, the person was like, if you don't pay, we're going to put it in collections. Yeah. And, she listened to this person tell her, like, even if you gave us $100, we're still going to put you in collections. And I was like, they are not going to do that. No. If you say, okay, look, let's just pretend like, okay, someone's credit card is maxed out. Yeah. I think a lot of people have been there before. Yes. Whatever your minimum payment is for that month, even if you cannot pay the entire thing, pay something.
Pay something.
Like what people start doing is they think, well, I can't even afford the minimum payment, so I'm not even going to pay. Pay something. Pay something. And eventually you will work your way out of the hole. Whether it's you eventually getting to a place where you can pay the whole monthly minimum payment and then paying more, or you settling eventually with the card company and paying less. Yes, it would show on your credit report for some time, but depending on the language, you can always like talk them into just saying that the balance was paid versus it was settled. And so there are things that people can do, again, if you've dug yourself into a hole to prevent further damage. But yeah, even if you can't afford the monthly minimum payment, pay something. Yeah. Pay something.
Awesome.
We getting y'all nuggets today, no chicken. You see what I'm saying? Dropping it. You know what I'm saying? Dropping it soon. But you know what I'm saying? We got Queen Ebony in the house. Giving y'all some financial literacy for your minds. You know what I mean? Queen Ebony plus financial literacy equals pod therapy. That's the name of the episode. Bam! I just did that right now. Hot wax. I don't play no games.
Hot wax.
Put it on wax.
And we got Russell chiming in, and he commented, poor credit can stop you from getting a job.
It absolutely can.
You know.
Absolutely can. Companies do background checks, and it's not just to see if you have drug history or if you are criminal history, but also they do check your credit. And the reason why a lot of companies do that is to see, because the concept is if you have poor credit, then you will be more inclined to do things to steal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's funny.
So I'm glad you brought up that point, because that is very, very much true. It can definitely hinder you. You can be an amazing candidate, but if you have poor credit, it can potentially prevent you from getting a job.
I'm gonna tell you something funny. I was thinking about getting another truck, so I went in. You know, I keep my truck pretty clean, and they was like, I could tell you have good credit, and I was like, how? You know what I mean? You ain't ran my joint yet. You know what I mean? She's like, most people with good credit keep their cars very clean. I was like, she was like, they have great trade-in values, and we already checked your truck out. Your truck is excellent, so I know your credit's good. And she's like, see, I was right. And I was just like, I don't want no truck no more. You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, that stuff like, wait, and it been several different instances where people say this, like, oh yeah, you'll be a perfect candidate. You have great credit. And I was like, I could be a criminal. You know what I mean? But just off that number, you know, I'm
my character.
I'm a good darky. So you know what I mean? That's what I felt like you were saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it came off rather
like you was surprised.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was sitting there like, you know,
this guy has the
rob you right now. But yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I feel like, and that's one thing that like my grandma, she was so serious about. Credit was her name. You know what I mean? Like if my grandma didn't say anything about me, I got good credit. You know what I mean? I can go buy anything I want. My grandma was like, hey, if I ain't got the money for it, I ain't finna buy it. You know what I mean? And then if she puts on credit, that joint was paid off way before the time that they say it was supposed to be paid off. My grandma did not play about that stuff like that. Like, cause she was like, credit is your well-being out here in these streets. People, you can't get jobs. Just like you said, you can't even go to the bank and work if you got bad credit. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody that's stealing money.
You can't get an apartment,
house. You know what I'm saying? You can't even get, you know, dog insurance. You know what I mean? If you ain't got good credit. Yeah, hey, for real, dog insurance out in the street, man. These dogs is insured. These are people now. You know, but this the thing, like, that's something that grandma kept beating in my head, and I was just like, nah, grandma, finna take this Visa Platinum and go to the Augusta Mall and Swiss swipe. You know what I'm saying? But they come out of there with 6-pack Air Force One, and they got no money. I got $60 in my pocket. And she was like, boy, you stupid. You gonna end up losing your good name. I lost it until I got it back.
So for your programs you intend to start, I know you're from Savannah before you came up here to Atlanta, like you said. So as far as logistically, did you want to start in your hometown or maybe start here and work your way down? Like
it would be better for me to start where I'm currently at.
Right.
So like right now I'm in Atlanta. So if I started this year, then I will start it here. But if I move back home, if I move to DC, like wherever I'm at, because I think it's best to be able to be hands-on. And if I am trying to do it remotely, I think that would just make it more challenging because I want to be able to connect with people. I want to be able to connect with the communities that I'm serving. So I definitely think like if it's this year, I would start it here in Atlanta.
That's good. You know what I'm saying? Help the little chocolate babies out. They need help. We all need help. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's something even like adults struggle with too, because I understand now just even through talking to some people, you know what I mean, that they really don't have a lot of, they don't know anything about finances. Because I knew the basic stuff, but just like even like the budget, the zero budget thing, I thought that meant we were poor. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember as well, like, yo, we got to have a zero budget. I said, so we can't have no money in the checking account? Man, I can't live like that. I just couldn't. I was just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. You ain't finna make me believe it. That is not right. I just could not get it. That was one thing I struggled with wrapping my head around. But now I get it. Every dollar has an assignment. It don't mean you broke. It just mean you got money in savings, money going toward bills, all that stuff like that. Money got to do something. Mm-hmm. It can't just sit there idly just for you to play with. You know what I mean? What
happens, I think, sometimes when people just have, and I was one of those people where I would just swipe my debit card and it's like, oh, for me it's usually food. Like that's food. Like my weakness. Like I'm over here eating out here, I'm getting coffee over here, all those things, and it's like just constantly swiping and just not being mindful of where that money could have gone. Like I could have had a brand new spring wardrobe, or I could have applied more money to my auto loan monthly payment, or fill in the blank. But one of the things, like when it comes to budgeting, is that people who don't necessarily budget or who aren't mindful of where they're like how much they're swiping their debit cards put themselves at risk for overdraft fees. Yeah. And that's like $1 billion industry in of itself. And that is just simply like that could be avoided if you only spend what you have.
Yeah.
And usually that happens when someone is not mindful of like, oh, I had this automatic payment that was going to come out and I swiped my card because I checked my account that day and I had the money. And so I went ahead and like I used it. But it's like if you budget, you will know in advance, okay, on this day I have an automatic payment coming out. Yep. So that means even if I see that amount sitting in my account that day before they drafted
that's not mine.
Exactly.
Right.
So that can be avoided because like I don't know if it's changed, but years ago, like if someone had an overdraft fee, it would be that $35, but then if the balance wasn't brought like back in the black, like if it was still in the red, after a few days they would add on another fee, fee, and it made it harder for people to. So I don't know if banks still do that or not, but like that makes it harder for people to get out of that little hole.
Now I remember there used to be a thing where people used to cheat as far as getting gas.
You talking about where you had like it was like $1.50.
You could have 50 cents in your account. Fill up on credit.
Make it worth
Fill
your time.
up on credit.
Make it worth your time.
You know you're gonna get paid the next day.
Oh god.
And then everything will be all good because you'll be brought back to black before. Now George Bush shut that down. He was just like, nah. The machine's gonna check. It's gonna show you actually you have 50 cents credit to get gas with, and you cannot go beyond. They will stop the pump at 50 cents.
Join the click on you so fast because I'm gonna tell you I did that for a time or two back in the day when I was in college. I used to wait till after 5 o'clock when the banks was closed. And then I'd be like, all right, so it ain't gonna be on my joint. I wait even because if I knew my bank corporate office was in LA or something like that, I wait till that time. I just be sitting at the house buying my time like, at 8 o'clock. Fill up, about to go to QT, dog, finna get there.
But the thing is, their technicians are overnight workers.
Hey, they ain't worried about my little 50 cents.
They ain't worried about your little 50 cents.
So I'm telling you, I was the best at this, man. You know what I mean? I used to get gas on credit to Friday all the time. You know what I mean? I used to be in that joint like, boop, boop. And then one day, like you said, George Bush ended that for me.
He was like,
I went there, I said, dang, this joint just let me get $1.35. That's it.
I used to go in the QT to get the gas because that way you could get yourself a little bit of snackage, a little bit of
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's exactly what I used to do too. Guys, go in there and get me 2 hot dogs, exactly. a big drink.
Get yourself a meal or 2.
Some chips and stuff like that, some chewing gum and stuff like that. Come out that joint
off that $1.35.
And ride around leaning mean with my gangster lean. Ooh, ooh. You know what I mean? All for $1.35.
Oh, and then one other time was, okay, like, let's just say I had $45. Okay. And so I bought a sandwich at Subway for like $8. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then I have like, 37 left. So then I decided to go to GameStop and buy a GameCube. Back when GameCube was hot or whatever. I got that. I got it used. It was like $100 or something like that. So turns out, instead of getting charged the 1 overdraft fee for my GameCube, I would get charged 2. Because because they prioritize certain purchases. Mm-hmm. They're going to take the bigger one. And when I went to Wachovia at the time and was like, well, why do you guys do this? Mm-hmm. I had money when I bought this sandwich, okay? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right? And they were just like, well, you know what? We try to help people out because when people are like doing this with their mortgage or something like that, we want that to go through before anything else. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, you're setting people up. No, man, I ain't paid a mortgage. I bought a sandwich. I want my $35 back. I want my $35 back
right now. And then
I had the money.
And then that hurt your feeling even worse. And they'll say, well, we can give you $8 of that $35. I was like, no, I need that whole $35 back. You need to run that. I don't care that I did wrong. Give him my money back. I'll fight you in here. You know what I mean? I don't like you like that. Your little ugly ponytail and everything.
Well, why don't you return the GameCube? No,
I'm not returning that.
Even if you return it, you still have that $35 charge for it.
Very true.
I
can't with you. I don't think you want that one.
It ain't another one. It's like a couple of them. Oh. You spent on all of them.
No. I didn't know there was another one under there.
My chewing gum disintegrate, man. I must be chewing it.
Disintegrate?
Yo, that joint was falling apart. I couldn't even chew it no more. It had turned into chewing gum sauce in my mouth or something.
But yes, this has been awesome.
This is a perfect opportunity for those who are listening right now. Please go to YouTube, type in CONVRS, the number 8, and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a comment, like the video, tell people about us.
Yeah, tell people about Ebony new 2 initiatives coming up, healing you people. You know what I'm saying? Giving you us. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Helping all the little chocolate children and all, you know what I'm saying, the little brown children get some financial literacy. She might even have somebody with the habla españoles to be able to talk to them too. You know what I mean? We out here.
Brother.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to heal your mind. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to heal your pockets. So when you go out there, you'll be able to create some generational wealth.
Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah. See, I'll bring it back around. I know it be silliness on top, but I come through with a little bit of sauce on the saison. You know what I mean? No? All right. Anyway, guys, thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I mean? We love y'all. Everybody that came check in. I seen a new person, DT. Welcome. Thank you for coming through. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Thank you, Ebony, for coming through.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. Like, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You know, we thought you weren't going to come. We thought you were too good for us.
Oh, my God.
Fine. Goodness.
I appreciate it, man.
I can't.
Yeah. I just be talking, man. Don't pay. But, yeah, man. Like I said, you know, go to all our media platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, all that stuff. on Google and Apple especially, rate us. You know what I'm saying? Give us ratings.
Give us a rating.
You know what I'm saying? 5 stars preferably.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But don't give me no 1 star, because I know you a hater, and I find you out. I track your IP address and I show up on your doorstep. What up?
You don't want that.
I run these paws off in your eye sockets.
So, Stevie, do you have any final thoughts?
Oh, yes. The final...
Oh, yeah. Thoughts. My bad. I'm a thug.
Oh, man. It's just you know, I've done the Dave Ramsey thing along with Darius as well. So just continuing to be financially literate, and really just assess where you're at financially and where to go from there, not to really compare yourself to anybody else financially, or what you think they're going through financially, because you don't know. You don't know people. You know, everybody has a different grind to get to where they're at and where they want to be. So just financial awareness. I'll call it awareness.
Absolutely.
Awareness of yourself. Just gain that and go from there. And you'll be surprised where you go. I mean, all our credit card debt is paid off. So
come on.
You know,
come on with the boogie
woogie. But yeah, the credit cards are gone. So yeah. So that is my final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Ebony.
All right.
I think, piggybacking to what
horsey backing. We don't say piggyback.
Oh, sorry,
on it.
horsey backing. That just sounds weird.
Nobody raise a pig.
Bring Byron to
that. You know, I think like it goes back to just awareness. Like I think if anything, like when it comes to mental health and when it comes to finances, I think there's a lot of shame that can come with it.
Yeah.
And I just want people to just feel comfortable with being uncomfortable with where they're at because they want to grow and be better and do well, but to be comfortable with the fact that they're where they're at and for them to reach out for opportunities to like get help and to grow and to learn. And so I think if anything, like, you know, if you're in a great place, that's amazing. You know, just help someone else. And if you feel like, okay, in this particular area, like, you know, I, you know, have great credit, or I'm, you know, using credit, you know, wisely, you know, but I'm still having a hard time, like, with my own personal spending, like, with my cash. Okay, maybe that's an area where I can grow. Like, just figure out what works for you. And I'm one of those people where, you know, yes, I'm following the Dave Ramsey plan, and at the same time, there are other financial people out there, like Susie Orman. Like, she will probably tell you something different than Dave Ramsey would. And so figure out what works best for you and your family. Because at the end of the day, like, we're going to continue to grow and learn and evolve, and life will continue to happen. And so there are things that are beyond our control, but it's like us learning how to respond in a better way the next time.
That lipstick popping on him, man.
Oh, boy.
Final thought.
Red look good, man.
Spring is coming.
Is that the thought?
Struggling over here with my allergies.
That's why I been hitting that nasal drip. I'm like, pop, hit my little nose cocaine before I come outside right now. I'll get you some.
Appreciate
some of that booger sugar.
Final thoughts. I love you, Mom. I think that I would just encourage people to have grace on their parents. I think that's something that I've been learning these past couple of years, especially with my relationship with my father. You know, because we're not perfect, and I think being able to see my mom in a different, you know, from a different perspective, or just being more open about her life and her past, has helped me to have even more grace, and just, you know, my experiences with her growing up and to even now. So I would just encourage, like, those children, adults, whatever, you know, just having that grace, man. I can only imagine, you know, like the pain that you know, felt from losing, you know, your parents and stuff. And, you know, you only get one, you know, you only get one set of parents. And I know there's a lot of things that happen and traumatic experiences, and I have quite a few myself. But what I am grateful for, because not a lot of people have this opportunity, is to resolve those issues before they're gone, and now it's something that you actually have to live with for the rest of your life and battle with, and struggle through, and try not to treat others out of that resentment or that because of the things were unresolved. Mm-hmm. So if you have anything that you need to resolve with anybody, especially your parents, like seek to do that. And if you can't do that, right now, like seek therapy so that you can talk through those things, so that you can eventually have those conversations, because you don't want it to get to a point where you don't have that opportunity anymore. Yeah.
And before I cue up Darius J for his final thought, I'd like to cue up the audience out there with their final thoughts, if they would like to contribute a final thought, and we will read it on the show after Darius J. So, final thoughts, Darius J.
One, we don't care what you think.
Of course you would.
I was just playing, man. Give us your final thought down there below, you know what I'm saying, in the commenter section. That's Spanish for comment.
Sure it is.
Yeah. But, my final thoughts is get your mind right when it comes to finances and your therapy. I feel like those are the two things, the two proponents that we were speaking on strongly today. You know what I mean? I'm thankful that you brought those things to light, because to me, I honestly feel like those two things work hand in hand. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, go help somebody. Go let somebody help you navigate, the things that you struggle with mentally, because a lot of times we think we can sleep it off, work it off, but most of the time it show up. Yeah. You may not even feel it, but it'll show up in your actions. You know what I'm saying? In your everyday life, you'll wonder why you keep falling in the same rut and the same thing keep happening to you. You would start to develop stigmas towards life and think life is doing it to you, but no, you're subconsciously subduing yourself to these circumstances in life. So I will behoove you to go out and seek help. You know what I'm saying? Learn yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because if, you go have to go get yourself some medicine, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you don't understand you're sick. Yeah. And you need to allow people in to help you. Don't just shell yourself off and just let your demons toy with you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one sure way for destruction to be the most encompassing thing in your life. Mm-hmm. So go seek help. There's nothing wrong with it at all. You know what I mean? Like, most of the people that I know are healthy people, healthy mentally and able to cope and deal with themselves. And I ain't saying it's going to erase some things, because just like I tell people, depression is real. You know what I'm saying? And, not be putting my wife business out there, but she struggles with that. You know what I mean? That's one thing that she let me know first off when we started talking, because I told her, like, yo, I need to know you're crazy, because I need to know if I can deal with it. Yeah. Showed it to me. Kind of shocked me at first, but then again, I understood where it was coming from. You know what I mean? And so don't be afraid to let your weak points out to people, because the people that love you and want to be there for you are gonna be there for you. Yeah. And don't be ashamed of it, because we all have chips in our, kinks in our armor that are exposed to everyone, whether we, try to put makeup over it so we can hide it amongst people and blend in when we feel like, like we're not even in the crowd, you know what I'm saying? So just allow yourself to, be who you are. And don't be ashamed of it. Accept it, you know what I'm saying? But deal with it at the same time. Yeah. And then finances, do all you can to learn, what you need to do to take care of yourself, because this world is not a very forgiving place right now for certain people, you know what I mean? So we need to be able to put ourselves in the best situation possible to make the best out of this life, you know what I mean? And I pray that you seek financial literacy and mental health. I pray that those are the two things that you really got out of this show, because those are the two things that really need to be in the forefront of our community, because we have been through so much and we carry so much through the years of bondage and all that stuff like that, and slavery. So we really need to focus on those things. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. And we have a final thought from Chris Maxwell. He said, I got this from a good friend of mine. Marry the vision, not the plan. So understand what you want to do and where you want to go in life, but be okay with that path changing as you journey.
That's good.
That's good.
Thank you, Chris.
Good. Thank you, Chris. You know what I'm saying? None of y'all else ain't had nothing else to say?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, I ain't gonna mess with y'all like that. Stay black. You know what I mean?
If you are.
If you are, because I know some people, you know, they think we just a black power show, you know what I'm saying? But I do stand with mine, you know what I mean? Because I don't think it's nothing wrong with what you call nephrotism, you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I rock with mine, I stand for mine. I believe in mine, you know what I mean? But we are welcoming all allies, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that's a friend of me and the people like me, you're welcome. But if you stand against me or you try to put my people down, catch these thunder cookies, cuz.
Oh my God. We love
but, you know what I'm saying? With all that being said, this is Convrs8. We thank you for, I ain't ready for you to say that yet,
okay.
Mello. We thank you for tuning in. We thank Ebony for coming and share her beautiful energy with us.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And her thoughts on financial literacy and mental health. Mella, thank you for being here and, you know, doing what you do and contributing what you contribute. Stephen Neal, thank you for, you know what I'm saying, doing what you do, contributing what you contribute. And Darius, thank you for being here.
Stop!
and contributing what you contribute to. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, cuz. I love you more than I love myself. You know what I'm saying?
You are talking to yourself.
And this is Convrs8.
We
out. We talked about it. Bang, bang.
And cut.
And cut.
Slide to stop.
Yep.